It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, good day again and welcome to the program. It is County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller, and we're very happy to welcome once again a guest we've visited many times over the years of this show. Now, some 15 years strong is County-Wide with the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Yavapai County. And today we're happy to welcome one of the newest members. Kristen Kerns is going to be the executive director. You already are now. This happened in April.
It happened in April, yes. So I'm going on 4 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet folks that come in with this long-standing in our community, this long-standing and successful organization. Brian Bergner, we've talked to many, many times on the show. And Brian's always working things. And he said, hey, I got somebody new you need to meet. And so here we are put together today for County-Wide. I want to talk a little bit about this agency, this organization, and what it is. A lot of our listeners will be familiar, but there's always surprises. We've always found that there are little things that maybe they assume or think they know, and about almost any organization. And frequently we find out that there's always something to learn, something new. But let's start with Kristen Kerns. Give me a little background. You've kind of worked with some nonprofits for a time.
I have, yes. So most of my career has actually been in nonprofits, both in the Phoenix area and for the past about 10 years up here in Yavapai County. In 2014, I actually came on with Boys and Girls Club of Central Arizona and helped them kind of rebrand and rebuild their organization and did a lot of different things with them. And then I've also assisted Yavapai Humane Society and U.S. Vets. So all real important missions that are near and dear to my heart with youth and veterans and our lovely four-legged furry friends.
Did you have kind of an affinity for this type of work? Were you inspired in, say, high school even? Or where does it come from?
Years and years, it was, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? And I never had an answer for that. Every day it was something different. But the same answer that I always had was I wanted to make a difference. I wanted my life and my time on this earth to mean something. And that got me into nonprofit. My very first nonprofit job was actually with Hospice of the Valley down in Phoenix. And hospice work is very, very meaningful, very very impactful, very difficult at the same time. But that led me to believe in the passion for it, that the nonprofit world was the right trajectory for me, and it's been uphill ever since.
Been a good fit.
Good fit, absolutely.
Well, that makes sense, and we're happy to bring that experience, I'm sure, and the folks with the Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters are as well. And we'll look forward to working together on that. There's always kinds of new things, but there's always a few folks who maybe are a little bit uninitiated. And despite our many visits with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, tell me in a nutshell, the 1 minute or so kind of piece. The organization is aimed at what?
We are aimed at one-to-one mentoring. So we found that having a positive mentor that may not be a family member in a youth's life can help continue to guide them down the path that they want to be. Parents are doing a wonderful job raising their kids, but sometimes the kids will just gravitate towards someone that is not that parental figure, but yet a supportive mentoring figure. I've had a lot of mentors in my life, especially coming in as an adult, that have mentored me and helped me get to the position that I'm in now. Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters, we've been around for 52 years, and we've served over 12,000 youth during that time with one-on-one mentoring relationships. And we actually, of all of the Big Brother, Big Sisters in America, we have one of the highest match rates. The average is usually that a youth a youth is called a little, and a mentor or a big, as we call them. The average rate across the nation is about 1 to 1.5 years. Our matches are almost 5 years going strong.
Wow. Now that time frame signifies what? The match with the two specific people?
The two specific people,
Gotcha.
Yep. So if, I've got little Johnny here who's matched with Bob, and they make their match, and across the nation, usually it's about 1.5 to 2 years, depending on the age of the little.
Sure.
But our bigs and littles, they're matched for life. It is really amazing and impactful to meet some of these bigs, and they talk about their littles, and they go to their weddings. We have some
Right.
that their littles moved away, and a big was doing a road trip across country and made sure that they stopped in Texas. So that way they could, see and still connect with their littles.
And to kind of further illustrate that, once, that match is made, typically these are with youngsters, with minor kids a lot of times, but not exclusively.
Correct, yes.
And having that as you go through, think of all the things you went through when you were 8, and then 10, and then 12, and then 14, and so on. So the longevity there of being able to still have that same mentor, and we've all had mentors, whether we realize they were mentors or not.
Absolutely.
But that's very potent, that they're the young person, the little, has that foundation.
Absolutely. That extra support from an adult that believes in them and wants to see them succeed really molds them into what they want to do and helps them learn new things that maybe they wouldn't get a chance to do. Our littles are anywhere between 6 to 24. And, even those older ones might need a little extra support navigating college or what do you want to be when you grow up.
Right.
But it's really it's so inspiring to see these matches and to meet these matches, being new to the organization and just seeing how amazing they are.
This organization's been around forever, more than 50 years, just locally, as you said a moment ago. And one of the first conversations that I had actually with Brian Bergner, sitting in that chair, was a huge misconception that I had, and I thought I knew about Big Brothers Big Sisters. I assumed that most of the littles were coming from, I guess unkindly, we would call them broken homes, where a parent is gone or a thing like that. And he said that's really less common than other situations. Parents are taxed, parents are busy, parents sometimes are working 2 or even 3 jobs. There could be some other kind of discord that doesn't involve directly the child. There's billions of different ways that a child's home life and it can be impacted way before we ever get to a home that is victimized by divorce or poverty or those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
That stunned me. I had no idea.
Yes. So there is a misconception with our organization and with a lot of nonprofits that it's only for those disadvantaged families.
Right.
But really, it's for any family, any child. You could have a 2-parent household, and with the economy the way it is today, like Brian said, they're both working really hard and they've got siblings, but they want that extra support and that extra person that maybe they're being bullied in school and maybe they don't want to tell their parents for whatever reason, but they have this other adult that can help them navigate through that situation.
Right.
And they become lifelong friends.
Sure.
And we have an amazing match that we just made with a young little sister, and both of her parents are in the picture, and she was just matched with a young woman who actually was a little and is now graduated and is becoming a big.
Okay.
And it's that sisterly figure, because that's what she's always said she wanted. I want a sister, and parents are like, no, we can't have a sister. But having an older sister is really impactful as well. And there's many ways to do that through the program without necessarily them being biological.
There can be things, we can all think back to our own childhood, and you love your mom and dad, even in the best homes, even in the most nurturing and caring homes. There are just certain things you can't find to talk to your parents about that are just, and we're having a big, like you described, sister-like. Think about those relationships, things you told your siblings, and some of these kids, if they don't have them. So there's just every kid, every absolute little is going to have a different story.
Absolutely.
That they can carry into this program. I wanted to ask, let's do this. Let's take a break first. When we come back, I want to ask if a parent ever has a difficult time. I would imagine some do, kind of turning that corner to realize that what they're asking for is a valued assistance and not like I've failed. I've fallen short. I can't do it myself. I would think that would be a common thing for a lot of parents before they understand how this organization works and how their child can be positively impacted. Kristen Kerns is the new executive director for Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters. She is our guest today. We'll continue with Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
We welcome you back to the program. I'm Brad Miller. It is county-wide, and our guest is Kristen Kerns, and Kristen is the somewhat new. She's been there since April now, more past the getting your feet wet stage.
Absolutely.
Know what you're doing. Long history of working with nonprofits. She is the executive director. Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters, an organization some 5 decades old, just in our community. So that question, I can understand how parents, it's tough being a parent, how giving permission to the little, to their own child to be part of this program might feel like I can't do it myself. And do you get that? How do you kind of walk parents through this initial experience?
We do. And, the first thing I want to tell parents is we get it. We know that life is hard. We know that there's a struggle no matter how much you want to feel like you have everything together. We know I have it every day. I feel like I've got my stuff together and I'm like, oh my gosh, you get to lunch. What is going on? But what we, with those parents that really are wondering or kind of hesitant about this, we bring them in and we talk with them. We really want to build that relationship with them. Right. And, what are the struggles that you're having? Because as much as we talk about the bigs and the littles, it's about supporting the parents too. And it's about supporting the whole family dynamic.
Sure.
And, we can really sit in a very comfortable environment, understand what their struggles are, understand and have a conversation about what their hesitation is. If it's like, well, I don't want this person to take over and, become like their mother. That's very rare that happens. And it takes a village. That statement that you hear all the time, it really is true. It takes a village. It
really
takes
does.
Your teachers. It takes your friends. It takes your mentors to help mold these amazing young human beings into what they want to be when they grow up.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just sitting down and having that conversation and letting them know what really the program is and what opportunities may open the door for their child, and that they're not a failure at all.
Yeah.
We're here to support.
It reminds me, and hearing you describe it again that way, I grew up in a family where my mom's siblings, there were 3, and we all grew up with about a bunch of cousins, and we all lived in about a 5-mile radius. Oh. You could find all of us within that tiny circle in a tiny town in Illinois. And I didn't realize it then, of course. When you're a kid, you're a kid. But how fortunate I was to have all of those cousins, sure, but the aunts and uncles too, for little things. And I had one uncle in particular that I could talk to about things I couldn't talk to my dad about. And when you say it takes a village, I think about what a blessing it was where I had this big extended family. That's kind of what Big Brothers and Big Sisters is, in a way, is a big extended family.
We are, absolutely. Our match advisors really build strong supportive relationships with our bigs, with our littles, with the families. And we're talking them through some maybe difficult challenges, or we're celebrating the exciting things when little Johnny may have been struggling in geometry, and we were able to pair them with the big who was great at math, and he helped them, and now Johnny's getting an A. We celebrate those things with the families and with the bigs, because those are amazing accomplishments. And the relationships that our match advisors, who are the support system for those that are involved in our program, are amazing, caring individuals that really just want to see everybody thrive and succeed in life. Yeah. And we love every aspect about it. There's not any person in our organization that comes up to me and goes, "Oh, I hate my job." We love our jobs. We love what we do. We love the mission, and we want to be here and be this extended family.
This is going to be a real thrill about finding a success story where it might not have been successful without this kind of, I will say intervention, and that sounds completely wrong. But this kind of direction.
Direction and community. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things for them, and we're looking at expanding. We have our annual picnic, which is coming back this year.
Okay.
And it's a luau themed in honor of Darla DeVille, a longtime board member. And we have activities throughout with that and throughout every month that our matches can do together that are really broadening their horizons, whether if it's going to the police station and solving a fake crime, or we're, partnering with the launch pad, or learning how your creativity with jars of clay can expand into your world. And it's really, really just amazing, this community that we build.
I want to do a little bit of recruiting here because I know there are people listening who would make wonderful bigs and probably don't realize it. And here again, I thought you mentioned we happen to have a big with some math skills. You don't need that. You
Absolutely
don't need
not.
big things. Brian really straightened me out. This was a second fallacy I kind of had, that bigs really had to have some training and some education and these kinds of things. What they really need is time and commitment. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. So we ask for 2 to 4 hours a month. And there's a number of different ways that you can do that through the different programs. Some of them, it's 2 to 4 times where they meet their little at school for lunch. And they're playing in the garden, or they're playing out at recess, they're playing games. And then there's our community-based matches where you can be out in the community and take them to a movie or take them to the theater. Maybe they've never experienced live theater and it's something that they might have an interest in.
Right.
So you don't have to, all you have to have is a caring heart and to want to make a difference in a youth's life.
Yeah.
Those, and a little bit of time. That's the only requirements to be part of the program.
Yeah. It's not, you have to go to Disneyland.
No.
You don't have to go to the ball game.
Nope.
You don't have to do all of these kinds of things. You don't have to put in tremendous expense and huge chunks
Absolutely.
of time. It seems to me, and you described it at the top of the show, where some of the bigs and littles do make lifelong bonds or long-term kind of bonds. And it seems like that is just going to take place or not as the relationships, like with your own kids or your own parents. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Absolutely. It happens very organically.
Right.
And that is, just the most amazing things to have that many people in your life, to have your parents that are supportive of you, and then to have this extra person that wants to be there when you graduate high school is just so meaningful. And to hear the stories that, that bigs have gotten an invite to their former little's wedding.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
usually that's great. Usually you're picking the important people that you want to be to see you at your wedding, and to have a person that bonded with you who was a volunteer for an organization that is on the short list for your wedding. I mean,
that's an extraordinary testimonial.
Just amazing and incredible.
Yeah.
And it just shows the impact that a mentor and that extra person that can support you makes in a person's life.
Well, I think why this program has nationally been so successful, and certainly locally it has too. A lot of people like Kristen Kerns driven by this, giving back to the community in full support of young people and older folks. We don't often talk about the rewards that the bigs also get. We kind of think about the little certainly are going to benefit from this, but I know that we've had Brian and other guests describe at detail about how the bigs are also very much rewarded by these relationships. We'll come back to Countywide. Again, our guest today is Kristen Kerns. She is the executive director, Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters. There's a few important dates on the calendar for this organization. We'll talk about those when we return to Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley. and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solar offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolar.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
Welcome back to Countywide. Kristen Kerns is our guest today, and she is the Executive Director, Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Some important events I know coming up in October, November, and we'll get to that, but there's an interesting campaign coming here pretty soon. Talk to me about Erase the Wait.
Absolutely. So we have a wait list of 40 littles between the ages of 6 and 17.
Okay.
And mostly actually young boys, so little boys. Little brothers is what I'm still learning the terminology.
Right.
Little brothers. And they're in need of mentors.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're doing this promotional campaign to try to recruit 40 males or big brothers to come in and be bigs to all of these waiting littles and get them off the wait list. You know, with school coming back, the schools are going to start sending us referrals. These are some of the little brothers that we've had maybe since before summer started, when it's a little bit slower of a season. But we really want to get them matched before all of the new referrals start coming in from the schools. And we want to do that for a number of reasons. A, because we don't want to have people, littles waiting longer than they have to. And B, we want to get them matched to start benefiting from the program. Mm-hmm. You know, I can just imagine being a little and knowing that I'm waiting, and seeing all these other activities where people are out and making those matches and doing fun things and would want to be involved. So
are bigs and littles always matched by gender? Like gender?
Yes.
Okay.
We try to do that as much as possible for safety reasons.
Sure.
Yeah, so what we do is we're really thoughtful and deliberate with our matching.
Yeah.
So we do interviews with both the parents, the littles, and the potential bigs. We find out about their interests, what they like, what their beliefs are. And then we have a conversation as a team when we get some that are through the process and say, you know, we think that little Johnny would be great with Big Brother Bob, and here's why. Yeah. And we really make a thoughtful match, so that way it's a lasting match.
Gotcha.
And
that seems the perfect point.
Things in common.
You bet. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like you match any two people for anything.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a job or a sport or whatever it is, same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're working really hard on that, and the official campaign will actually start in September. Okay. But we're starting to spread the word now. Does not mean anybody that might be interested in learning more. Do not wait until September.
Right.
Go ahead and go to our website and fill out the interest form now, and we can be in touch so that we can get all of these youth that are waiting matched with a big brother or a big sister.
Okay. We're just about out of time. It's real quick, and we can maybe talk again between now and October. There's a big fundraising event, I know, at the end of the year.
Absolutely,
But in October is?
Our open houses. So we want you guys to come in and get to know us if you have questions. Our Prescott open house at our Prescott location will be on October 25th in the afternoon. And our Cottonwood one will be on October 30th. It's going to be Halloween and fall themed. We're going to have friendly haunted houses and a trunk or treat. So bring your family, bring your kids, or bring yourself if you want to learn more about the organization and meet us.
Outstanding. Let's close with either a phone number, a website, an email. What would you prefer people are left with?
The best way to get a hold of us is to go to azbigs.org.
Okay, just like that. Kristen Kerns, Executive Director, Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters, tremendously successful program nationally and certainly here in Yavapai County. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.
Bye.